morning. We're on your side with just how much rain we saw and what you can expect for those storms for Juneteenth.
Plus, we give you the weather extra on the tropics as we head to the Pacific, the Eastern Pacific, where a hurricane has formed. We'll show you where and where Erick is going.
Live on your side. First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
And welcome into First Alert Weather Extra. Those storms rolled in and they rolled out. Lauren, it's just amazing. Some days it's like, is this the same day?
I know.
Because the sun's out, right?
You're right, exactly. You know, it
Yeah.
can go, there can be that hot, steamy sunshine 1 minute and the next a tropical downpour.
A tropical downpour with Lauren Linehan right in the middle of it, by the way. She
Yeah.
got caught. I was just ahead of you today making it to the studio.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. You'd think before you run out on your lunch break as a meteorologist, you'd maybe check the radar. Nah.
Hey, well, that's the thing, these pop-up storms, they just
do.
pop up in random
really
areas. But the one thing you can notice on days like today, if you feel that heat, you feel that humidity, know you need to watch out because those storms feed off of that. They pop up. Let's show you what's happening at the moment. And right now, immediately where we have some rain, we are tracking some showers over parts of Winston County. This is looking in that direction from WKUL in Coleman. First Alert Sky Vision. And we are tracking those showers back in areas to the west direction. And that rain, you can see it's starting to thin out, but as the models actually did a really good job with this yesterday. They suggested we'd see first off storms East Alabama, exactly where those storms popped up, and over West Alabama as a secondary development, and we've been seeing that. Watch out though, there's some locations. Notice Hamilton showing 82. I know we have cooled off here, but far west Alabama still might be a pop-up storm where it is hotter, where it is more humid, but these storms have weakened quite a bit though. We were seeing a lot of lightning here over parts of Winston County. There have been some warnings in the Athens area, North Alabama, all that staying well north of us. Right now, I'm watching what's going on to the north. There is an organized risk of severe weather. You can see a real enhanced severe risk in the parts of Kentucky, parts of Indiana. What's left of this system is moving our way overnight. Now, it's going to stay warm, very tropical-like out there, so there's some instability in the air that's going to feed into some of those storms as this all moves south later on tonight. By Friday, it's well out of here, but we've got to watch tomorrow because the rain chances, we've been talking afternoon all week. Well, we're about to change that. It's going to be a greater chance of rain tomorrow morning, so don't let that catch you off guard. Giving you the first alert to be ready for some early morning wet weather impacts. The good news is we kind of catch a little break in the action this evening. You can see now we're kind of on that downward trend heading into the evening through late tonight. Looks like if you want to get a walk in, should feel nice in the 70s out there. Rain coming to an end, but notice to the north, this is what we're watching. This one model doesn't show a lot, but I've looked at all these different model runs over the past few days, and a lot of this guidance is suggesting we could see a complex of storms moving south, and we got to watch out for that through the early morning. Some of those may hold together with some gusty winds. Some may even be severe as we move into the state, so we got to watch out for that. I put together a timing map. Could see some isolated development as early as 2 or 3 in the morning far northwest. I still think by 6, 7 o'clock, that's when a lot of this starts to roll into those northwest counties, and then it moves south. Notice 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. across central areas, so we could have some lunchtime impacts, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, back to Anniston, but by the afternoon, most of this is tapering off back to the south and east. So we have greatest rain chances for tomorrow, likely during the morning, and then dropping off for the afternoon and into the evening. I put together some rain totals here, and Lauren, want to go back to our Weather Watcher map here. I have our First Alert Weather Watchers. We'll go back to links number 1, and okay, so let me see here. Let me go back over to make sure I've got the right map pulled up. Okay, so yeah, so I did pull up some rain totals here across the area. First off, this is in the Birmingham area and back in towards St. Clair County. Some of the radar estimates, you can see over 2 inches. We did have a flash flood warning that was issued for Birmingham. Certainly one of the heaviest downpours that we have seen all week. But around the state, weather watchers checking in. A lot of locations in the 70s. You can see for a lot of areas here, rain amounts have been on the lighter side, about 50 1,500ths of an inch of rain over into Chilton County today. John King and Alabaster only reporting 500ths of an inch of rain, so it's still been kind of hit or miss, as you can see. Pell City, Bobby Rowe checking in with 8,500ths of an inch of rain. We had at one point today over 400 lightning strikes with storms just in between Jefferson and St. Clair County. So we have seen some big lightning producers and some locally heavy rainfall. And again, that's what we'll be watching for early tomorrow morning. But be sure to scan the code. If you haven't done this, you need that First Alert Weather app. Scan the code, download the app for free, because you receive lightning and precipitation alerts. If you have any heavy rain close by, any threat of lightning nearby, especially with the temperatures on the rise, maybe spending a little time out at the pool, the lake this weekend, you'll certainly want that, and you'll get those alerts from Lauren Linehan. And with lightning being a large component, of course, of all thunderstorms, meteorologist Matt Daniel joins us now with an in-depth look at lightning and how you can stay safe.
Well, we're entering our summer months, and of course we can see a lot of weather hazards across the area. And believe it or not, when it comes to fatalities, when it comes to weather-related events, you may think it's tornadoes or even hurricanes, but the biggest concern is always heat. Over the 30-year average, we'll get about 143 people that pass away from extreme heat, and flooding is number 2. But if you look at these labels, a lot of these things we see in the summer months, including heat, flooding, hurricanes, and yes, even lightning. In fact, we've had lots of issues with lightning over the past several days, hearing reports of houses getting struck by lightning. And this is one of the reasons why we are always urging everybody to go indoors if you hear thunder or see lightning. So let's talk a little bit about why it's important to go indoors. So here's a look at the U.S. lightning deaths per month, and notice how it kind of spikes during the summer months, June, July, August, and into parts of September. Why is that? Well, it's warm outside. People want to be outdoors. You're at the lake, you're at the pool, you're by the ocean. Maybe you're fishing, maybe you're doing sports. There's more people outside, and it's also, when we heat up, you get a lot of those thunderstorms forming and they produce lightning. So we're mixing them together, and that's why we see people getting injured or possibly dying from lightning. So here's some stats from 2015 to now. 2016 was a pretty deadly year with lightning, but think about it. As a whole, the entire country, only 40 people died. So it's low, super low and rare to get struck by lightning, of course, but always urge people to go inside. And you can see so far this year, we've got 3 reports of people who've died being outdoors struck by lightning. So be mindful of that. So let's talk about some lightning facts. 20 to 25 million lightning flashes strike the ground each year in the United States. That's a lot. The chance of being struck greatly increases if you remain outdoors. So if you're outside watching a football game or watching baseball and you hear thunder, you need to go inside. The more likelihood of you staying outside as you hear that thunder, the odds are increasing that you're going to be dealing with some lightning. And lightning can strike up to 10 miles away. So a lot of times when there's sporting events, if there's a lightning strike anywhere within a 10-mile radius, they're going to delay those games so people can stay safe. And the best rule of advice, if you're outside having some fun and you go inside, wait 30 minutes after you last hear the thunder to go outdoors and resume those activities. Very important. So we always hear the phrase, when thunder roars, go indoors. So if you go indoors, if you see lightning or you hear thunder, normally these storms are very powerful in the afternoon and evening. And my best advice, download the WBRC First Alert Weather app. It's a great tool to have. It's free, and it's going to give you those push alerts immediately if it sees lightning nearby or some heavy rain. So maybe you don't hear the thunder, but if you see it, or if your app notifies you about it, stop what you're doing and be safe and go indoors. Very important, especially since we got lots of concerts going on. We got Rock the South this weekend, and we got Barons baseball as well. Just be safe and be weather aware.
Breaking right now out of Jefferson County, surveillance video from a Sunoco gas station in the McAdory area. Look at that lightning. You can see the lightning strike captured there on one of the security cameras beyond a tree line. That strike just enough to show you how powerful lightning can be. Of course, in the summer, that is always a big concern. Even when you have sunshine, you hear those rumbles, got to go indoors. Also, another troublesome
Yeah, that's right, Wes. You know, it's been quiet in the Atlantic Basin, but taking you to the eastern Pacific now. Check out this video of those along Acapulco beaches in Mexico gearing up for the landfall of Hurricane Erick. Many people setting up hurricane shutters and filling their cars with gas. Officials also preparing to provide power to Oaxaca and Guerrero in the event of power outages. So it is really the Pacific coast of Mexico that is going to be slammed with this, and fittingly, because the Pacific Basin is what has been so active. So the problem with Erick is it has been rapidly intensifying in the eastern Pacific, where conditions are just so primed to see this rapid intensification. You have very warm ocean water, you have low wind shear, and tropical systems are really like that. It allows them to fuel and grow stronger. So right now, sustained winds are at 110 miles per hour, and it's moving to the northwest at 9 miles per hour. So we mentioned those regions in Mexico, Oaxaca and Guerrero. Those are most likely the ones that are going to be hit with the potential for not just damaging winds as this moves in, but also the possibility of some heavy rainfall that could lead to mudslides. So right now it's a Category 2 hurricane, could potentially strengthen into a major hurricane before making landfall overnight along the west coast. Now remember, when a hurricane makes landfall, that is just literally the definition of that is when the eye of the system moves over land. But it has already been bringing flooding rainfall farther inland. So you can see that latest forecast eventually does take it by later tomorrow afternoon as a tropical storm. It's beginning to move over that mountainous terrain of Mexico, and so it loses that fuel, that warm ocean water, and eventually would become a depression on Friday. But we know all too well here in Alabama, a system doesn't have to be a full-fledged hurricane. It can still cause impacts farther inland, even as a deteriorating system. So definitely thinking of folks down in Mexico. If you have any type of vacations down that way, make sure you're staying weather alert. Well, breaking tonight, Homewood City crews working to fix a sewer drain back here in the U.S. that packed up big time during those strong storms this afternoon. This is at the corner of Valley Avenue and 18th Street South. This is the second or third time this area has flooded over the last month. The rainwater covering a big part of one lane at this intersection. And in 30 seconds, we continue to talk about that chance for some strong storms on Thursday and how you can stay safe as heat begins to build by the weekend. We'll be right back.
All right, showers coming to an end for this evening. We had those early afternoon and early evening storms. That's all going to fall apart later on tonight. And we have a break until after midnight. We might start to see as early as 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. If you're watching me here in areas in parts of Marion, Winston, Coleman counties, you may hear a rumble of thunder. There's a chance we could get an isolated early morning storm. But I think tomorrow you check in with Megan and Mickey as we kick off Good Day Alabama. I think through 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, we're going to have some storms moving in from the north. Some of those could be strong to severe, and that's all going to work its way south through the morning hours. And by early afternoon, there's a good chance this is out of here and we enjoy a nice break into the afternoon. But what's going to happen moving into the weekend, and Lauren was talking about this also, we've got this upper level ridge of high pressure. It's going to build in, and what that's going to do, summertime ridge, it's going to put a lid on these widespread showers and storms. And it looks like the forecast definitely, the pattern shifts here. We're going to go into fewer afternoon storms, very isolated but hotter conditions. And as we prepare to see rising heat over the weekend, health experts are sharing how the warm weather could potentially impact your appetite. It's called thermic effect or thermic effect of food, I should say, according to the Cleveland Clinic. I haven't heard of that one, Lauren, I got to say, but I'll take it, right? And it can happen when it's really hot outside and can make you feel less hungry, which I have had situations like that when it's just too hot to eat, right? Higher levels of activity or dehydration, of course, can make you feel less hungry during the summer months. I don't know, though. I can tear up a nice, cold, sweet watermelon when it's hot outside. Right?
Watermelon always helps, that's for sure. Well, I would definitely indulge in some watermelon over the next several days. We wanted to give you a little peek at those future heat index values as we go into the next 5 days. Now, tomorrow, kind of par for the course. It's hot and steamy, but once those storms come through, it can help to cool things off. I think tomorrow, if we end up seeing a situation where there are more storms around in the morning, it could be okay, you cool off in the morning, but then that sun could peek back out in the afternoon. So it looks like Friday as well, still keeping those feels like temperatures in the mid 90s as some slightly drier air moves in. But look what happens as we go into the weekend and into early next week. A first alert for feels like temperatures potentially getting into the triple digits. And that would all be a result of course, you've still got some humidity in place, but that ridge of high pressure is already building in as well. So make sure y'all keep it safe in the heat. But this is also the time of year where children are outside a lot, and those increasing temperatures can put them at risk. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has tips to help parents keep kids safe from heat-related illnesses.
As the temperatures rise, so does the risk of getting really sick from the hot sun.
It's hard for your body to actually sweat out that heat and to get rid of it. So you're at much higher risk of heat-related problems.
Dr. Ashley Brulette with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta says this time of year, it's especially important to keep kids hydrated before, during, and after activities. She says if they're outside for under an hour, make sure they're drinking plenty of water. But if they're spending more than 60 minutes outdoors, she suggests supplementing with a sports drink.
And then also being mindful of what time of day we're doing activities. So doing things earlier in the morning, later at night, having shady breaks, things like that are going to be really important for monitoring long term.
If your child is an athlete, Brulette says to gradually introduce heat before outdoor practice to allow the body to acclimate to it, and be mindful of equipment and clothing that they're wearing.
Not overdressing, light layers, light colors, things like that will be helpful.
Knowing signs of heat-related illnesses is also important. The most severe sickness from the sun is heat stroke. Symptoms include confusion, irrational behavior, drowsiness, nausea, vomiting, and a high temperature of 104 degrees and above. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
All right, let's get you ready for what's on the way tonight. We're sort of on a downward trend again as far as rain chances this evening. So if you have plans, no significant impacts now through midnight tonight. The rain chances will come to an end. The scattered showers will gradually fade away, especially by 10 o'clock tonight. But we will be watching what's happening well north of us. There's a chance that a line of storms could drop in by tomorrow morning, especially by 6, 7 o'clock. Around, you can see around Hamilton there. Some models were suggesting maybe an isolated storm out ahead of this, maybe as early as 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Just letting you know that would be far northwest for most of us. This is a 6 o'clock to lunchtime window we need to watch out for tomorrow as this moves in. And will this hold together? That's been one of the big questions. A lot of models saying this line of storms moves in from the north and just kind of falls apart as it moves in across the area. That said, we just need to be ready, and weather alert tomorrow morning. Could be some locally heavy rain in some areas, some gusty winds as those storms move through, but they should leave us with some improvements for the afternoon. Went with high temperatures in the 80s. Don't know if we'll quite go as warm or as hot as today with that stormy weather moving in early in the day, but as the atmosphere tries to recover later tomorrow, there might be an isolated storm off to the south that may try to redevelop. But Friday looks mostly dry. We start out around 70. Those morning low clouds give way to some sunshine. We heat up. We're talking highs in the upper 80s, and we're going to be seeing some 90s coming up for the end of the week and into the weekend. Summer officially arrives on Friday, so it's going to be right on track here with those afternoon highs close to 90 and topping 90 degrees into the weekend. And the heat index, that's what you're looking at here. The humidity, it goes nowhere. It stays with us, so it is going to feel extremely muggy. Heat index levels may rise as hot as 106 by Monday afternoon. So here it comes. Get ready to crank up the AC. Rock the South forecast. The good news is starting out into tomorrow night, the rain chances will be backing off. So we will have, it looks like for Rock the South, some big improvements there going into the weekend. Those afternoon highs, though, it's going to be hot out there. Make sure you got plenty of water and plenty of bottles of water. And then next week as well, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, those storms will stick around off and on, but a very seasonal rain chance there for late June. And we're headed to summer camp. It's that time of year. Meteorologist Megan Thomas visiting Memorial Park School as part of TR Simmons Summer Learning Camp in the Walker County there. She spoke with kindergarten through 3rd grade about what it's like to be a meteorologist. But hello and welcome to our newest junior weather watchers. But always great to enjoy a visit in the AC on a hot, humid summer day. Right, Lauren?
Oh, yes, man. So thankful for that AC. And I'm sure you're going to be really thankful for it in the coming weeks, because as we look beyond the 7-day, that 8 to 14-day temperature outlook, oh yeah, above average temperatures in the forecast. That's not going to be going anywhere. So this is looking at June 26th through July 2nd. So taking us through the end of the month into early July. And it definitely looks like this hot pattern we're going to be switching over to will be holding on. Now, it also looks like there is the possibility maybe we could see some above average precipitation. Doesn't look quite as wet as what we've seen, of course, in May and then this past month, but it could be the signs of a slightly more unsettled summer pattern. And of course, when we see that, we also want to watch for any mischief in the tropics. So there's the possibility we could see some weak low pressure in the Gulf of Mexico later next week, but we'll continue to keep a close eye on that. I don't think it's anything concrete. Still looks like the main activity is going to be in the Eastern Pacific, but you will see for Thursday of next week into Friday, you notice we have a slightly better chance of maybe some storms around. Now, it still looks like we're going to have the influence of a high pressure ridge, but sometimes there begins to be a weakness in that ridge. And when that happens, you see a better chance for some showers and storms. So of course, this weekend's looking a little bit drier, but possibly next weekend, which is looking at June 28th through 29th. So the last weekend of June, we could maybe see that unsettled pattern trying to return and a better chance of storms. Now, is that a guarantee? No, we're just kind of showing you the trends we're beginning to see in the model data. But in the meantime, that heat is going to be coming in quickly. We'll have a final look at your forecast coming up after the break.
All right, looks like those showers and storm chances will increase again tomorrow morning, Lauren. So morning impacts, kind of change it around tomorrow, but some improvements by the weekend.
Yeah, and also some big time heat by the weekend.
That's right. Yeah, we'll be talking more about the rising temperatures tonight. We'll see you first at 9.